What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Plain Jane Cars podcast. Glad y'all tuned in for this episode because this is a special episode. It's our last episode in studio, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Not for a long time. First of all, let me welcome Tristan. Welcome to the podcast.
I'm back again.
Back at it. We're still going to do some podcasting, obviously, because I really, really, really enjoy it. We're going to step out of the studio. I don't know for how long. For a little while. I got a bunch of stuff going on, competing priorities. And, got to be an adult sometime, make decisions. This is a hobby. Hobbies are you kind of give and take. Mm-hmm. Story time before we get into our podcast, though. A little story time. So as I'm I said in my last, before we do story time, I just thought about something I want to start at the top of the show with. I don't have any notes this episode. This is freeform Charles. Like I mentioned in the last episode, if you haven't listened to it yet, you should go back and listen to it. I was going to let you guys see more of who and how I am. And I am scatterbrained. Anytime I don't have to be focused, I choose not to be because it's just not natural for me. So I think you guys, this episode might be a little bit more scattered than others. The other episodes that were scattered, it was that way on purpose. It's with intention. This is not with intention. So we did a giveaway on our last podcast. And I was excited how many people took advantage of the giveaway. There weren't many. But shout out to the people that did. And one thing that I mentioned, if you got it to the end of that podcast, I was going to give, $50 gift card, Amazon gift cards. And I was happy to go to the store and buy those gift cards and give them away. But I got some feedback, and I just wanted to read feedback from one of the listeners, and I'm not going to name them because maybe they don't feel comfortable with that, but this is what I really get excited about, even if there's 2 or 3 people listening. I know it's more than that, but I always say that because it keeps me humble. It says, I just finished listening to your last podcast. I'm not messaging for the gift card, but to let you know you're killing it. I literally look forward to listening every week. I thought I was a car guy until I started listening to you and your guests dive into cars. I quickly realized I don't know much. I learn something new every time I tune in. Keep up the good work. Man, if you don't smile when you get something like that, bro, Yeah. If it's one person, people say that all the time and it becomes cliched. But even if it's just one person that feels that way.
That's really cool.
It's like, nah, I'm not a village idiot. Like, I actually have a little something, I think, maybe, probably, even if it's that one person. So, man, shout out to the core audience. So, no, we're not going to stop. We're just going to be out of studio. I'll probably take a little bit of a hiatus for a couple weeks. And then we'll be back at it. We might even be back in studio after a little while. Maybe more like a summer break, probably. That's what it's going to be like for the studio. And then we'll step back in when I get in a swing of getting some other things balanced out in life, right? Got a lot of stuff going on, including story time about the 240. As soon as I said I'm going to stop talking about it, I had to tell this story. So, been married for a long time. Shout out to my wife, bro. Shout out to my wife. She is so cool. We get on each other's nerves for sure. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to this car thing, she's so supportive that she's non-supportive, right? She just doesn't get in the way. She's like, this is what he like to do. She just minds her business. But it's kind of funny. Over the years, she has a habit. She loves shopping. Like, loves shopping. Never held it against her, but I will talk about it. And when Amazon, we've been together long enough that we were together before Amazon. And it's been so funny over the years when we got that video doorbell watching packages show up. Not only Amazon, anything, right? Because before she could hide the stuff, but then you get the delivery like, what is that? What is that? She's like, oh my goodness, here you go. My, how the tables have turned.
Yeah.
Every time a box shows up at the house, she's like, what is that? So she texted me last night. I'm traveling. I'm coming home. And she said, it looks like UPS dropped the box off. Do you know what it is? I said, probably car parts. Mm-hmm. And it was.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Past couple of weeks,
it's been intense. Mm-hmm. But the transformation on that car is going to happen immediately. Like we planned it. Well, not immediately. I mean, we had the car for maybe a month and a half now. Mm-hmm. But haven't even really driven it at all.
3 times to be exact.
Yeah. I don't really want to drive it like it is. We'll drive it, planning a little, YouTube video, of course. Still going to, like I said, still going to do a little bit of YouTube. Even that's going to scale back for a little bit. But I really want to drive it when it's done. You know, when it's all like put together. I think it's so cool. Looking forward to it. So this week will be some big things coming. Keep an eye out on the YouTube channel, Plain Jane Cars. So we'll have 1 or 2 videos on the 240. Like I said, it's not going to be a build series like I thought it was going to be before. We're just going to do when it's done, all done, and some cool movie like cinematics. We got some ideas. I ran them by Tristan. She approved. But one thing we wanted to do on our last episode in studio, not our last episode, but our last episode in studio, is talk all things drift.
Yay.
Bro, FD got spicy in E-Town.
Yeah, E-Town.
So if you guys aren't watching Drift, I totally get, you'll probably tune in. We're going to lose half of our listenership, right? So all 3 people that listen.
Learn something new.
Yeah, the 1.5 people that make it to the end are going to learn something new. It's just like any other. Well, I shouldn't say it's like just like any other car.
Any other motorsport and stuff.
Motorsport. It's a little dip. No, it is because the NASCAR different. They fight, and like people get spicy.
I know. I've been seeing the bikes too recently. I don't know if like the motorcycles. True. They've been.
It's competitive.
Yeah.
And the thing that I like about it, like any other series, right? You have personalities. Like there are only so many drivers in NASCAR. There are only so many drivers in F1. There's only so many drivers or bike riders in MotoGP. There's only so many people that do rally cross, Euro rally. All, you know what I mean? I could go on. Same thing for drift, right? And these guys are like a traveling circus.
Yeah.
They know each other, right? You know what I mean? They pop up their tent. They go from town to town. That's really what it is, right? It's a traveling circus. What'd you think of E-Town? The event?
Really, I would say like from just like a spectator, it was super entertaining. Like it was just entertaining if you didn't know anything. Like,
you could watch it.
So much going on. Yeah, it was very watchable.
Can't vouch that for the other events because I've been watching this season's my first time. I'm still objective. Man, E-Town had me locked in. I was like, man. Even what was it called? Even like testing. Do they call it testing? Like on Wednesday. It's like
the day before.
The day before. The practice. That's not practice. Practice. I'm sorry. I was even watching practice, and what I like to do is watch the FD stream. But also, I love the fact that a lot of the guys are creators now.
Yeah, finally.
Like, even James Dean is finally
have YouTube and stuff.
That's so weird, but a lot of them are getting better too of like showing the behind the scenes stuff,
POV cams and stuff. They have like a football cams
and what they're trying to do, and like what's their plan. Like I like Adam, and he did a good job, and he got a video out fast.
Day after FD.
Yeah, hour long.
Yeah,
watch the beginning to end.
Yep,
it was that good. Sorry, I keep cutting you off.
No, it was really good. I think a bit frustrating if you actually like know what's going on. So like,
explain that.
The judges, there were some interesting calls. Like people get better over time, like you said.
Who?
Drivers.
What? You talking about Pro Spec, Pro?
Oh, we're talking about Pro.
Give us details.
I didn't really watch Pro Spec. Pro Spec was fun qualifying, but that's all I watched. But Pro wise, there's 3 judges. There's 4, and they have 1 judge that stays down with the driver's steward, just in case there's any protest called. So that's when the driver says, like, hey, you guys made the wrong call. They want something to be reviewed. It's kind of like when in football they use, like, their red flag. It's just challenging whatever was called, So there's 3 judges. One's from Canada, one's from the U.S., and one's from Japan. And they've been judging for a while, and that was one of the main complaints, like last year, that they needed to change, is that there needs to be more judges and more judges that have been drivers. But they made a 4-judge thing and they kind of rotate off. So I guess that was their compromise. But they didn't do what we asked, which was to get new judges. Which was kind of frustrating because, like you said, when you're in motorsports and you have these personalities, you kind of get to know them during their lows and their highs, when they're winning, when they're getting better, when they're improving. It's the same thing with the judges. Like, they're imperfect, but it's like consistently like the same problems. Like, there's always a judge that's like calling stuff like lower than the other 2 judges. There's a judge that's a little bit too generous sometimes, and it's like, well, if y'all following the same guidelines, you shouldn't be that far apart. And sometimes in qualifying they were. Let
me play the advocate here a little bit. Could that possibly be by design? Like, could there be somebody that's on that judge panel that is being a Russian judge, for example, or being
That's what
the
Jared said,
advocate,
the announcer.
because I was watching some
Robbie
of the
Nishida.
scoring too. Yeah, I was watching some of the scoring too. And it was like, man, I mean,
Somebody's like a 78. How do you go from one judge at 78 to a judge at 84?
or somebody with an X factor of 3 or like
then somebody
2.81.
7.
Yeah, it's like, what?
I'm like, okay.
Hold on.
I think y'all should
It's
be in
really
like maybe 3 points max, like total
Yeah.
within each other. But when there's like a 6, 7, 8 point gap, I'm like,
But it's subjective, though. It's
there's
subjective.
guidelines though. It should not be that far. I can see the X factor, excluding the X factor.
Yeah.
Like the point system is there's guidelines. There's things that they have to follow, line, style, or line, angle.
Mm-hmm.
Those are
Proximity.
very
It's a whole
set
bunch
out
of things,
things.
right?
But for
Yeah.
qualifying, like it's very specific on what they're looking for. The style is when each judge kind of, they know the drivers and they can see their different improvements as individuals. So excluding those 10 points, the other 90 points, I'm like, y'all should not be like 5, 6, 7, 8 points apart,
Right.
in my opinion. And it was a bit frustrating from that point. But qualifying, super fun. Weirdly enough, the only person that incompleted, which is the first time in a long time, was Chelsea. Yeah, he straightened up at like the end. You're supposed to end in drift.
In drift, right.
So you can't go through the finish line straight.
Right.
Yeah, you have to end in drift. And you see all of them like they drift out and then they straighten up.
That's
and
right.
They stop.
That's right.
Chelsea was the only one that didn't do that. And that's kind of like a foreshadowing because I think he was just a little frustrated like the entire weekend.
If you have not seen the memes of Chelsea DeNofa,
He's going crazy.
man,
Getting a lot of views too.
spicy.
So
Shout
I
out
guess-
to Chelsea, though.
Good and bad.
What are your thoughts on RTR, though?
I think they
team.
are a great team. They have great resources, and they're providing maybe what the future of the FD could be like.
So you're a hater, too.
Huh?
You're a hater, too.
No, I like them.
Now,
I
you
love
said
Chelsea.
the resources they have.
Yeah.
So
they
what
have
does that mean?
resources.
What does that
So
mean?
there's people like Jonathan Hurst who is running his entire program, meaning like he is managing how.
So, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah,
cutting
he's
you off. Go
managing
ahead.
everything. So he doesn't
Yes.
have like a Von Gittin or who's Osbo's
Nah, I can't think.
he's
I
super
don't-
popular. But
Yeah.
they don't have like a Von Gittin to basically oversee almost everything, how the car is made, tuning it. They don't have an entire team there to fix things. They don't have necessarily they just don't have tools and stuff and huge organizations backing them like RTR does. I think RTR's with like Monster and
So let me ask you:
Pennzoil.
Do you think the reason why RTR has won 3 of the 4 events so far is because of their resources?
They're doing something right. I think they're doing something right. I wouldn't say it's because of their resources because
Okay.
everybody in FD
That's all
Pro
I'm
is
saying.
good.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I think they're doing something right. There's something to them being as consistent as they have been, especially Vaughn not having drifted in 2 years.
You just showed up and won.
Yeah, he's not even been like drifting off. Like he's doing a lot of off-road stuff.
Yep.
So he's not like practicing in,
Yep.
I guess, off-season. Like Dan, he was there last year with the Supra.
Yes.
He's drifting. So he's doing like grid life and everything
Yeah,
like that. He
yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
move
He's
on
just
to a
not
completely
FD.
different
Yeah,
motorsport.
yeah.
Whereas Vaughn's been doing completely different stuff. And he won.
Yeah. And did
Second event into the
dominating.
year.
Yeah, dominating style
a
too.
long shot.
Yeah, dominating fashion.
Yeah. By a long shot. Same thing with like Dean, like doing amazing consistently. And he hasn't been in FD, I think, since 2018 or 2019.
Yeah, James Dean.
So it's like, Chelsea's overdue for his win. Adam overdue.
Let's
But
talk
it's just
about
like,
Adam's
I
win.
think,
Spoiler alert.
yeah.
Adam won E-Town. What do you
He
think
did.
was some of the contributing factors to him winning E-Town?
Everybody said it was his driving his 4-rotor Supra. I agree.
100%.
100. Because that's the
He
only,
had
he's never had a car that
so-
he had to drive flat out like that.
He had so many laps.
Yeah. And he
2 weeks
could.
before because of the LZ invitation. No, at World Tour.
His World Tour.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the LZ World Tour.
And they were there like 2 weeks before, 3 weeks before FD.
Yeah.
Like it was at
So
E-Town.
he had it was almost, and it feels kind of sort of
He's
like
doing
his home
good.
track too, in a way.
Yeah.
He has
He's from Connecticut,
so
so
much style.
he did really, really, really
Man,
well.
he was
Consistent.
getting it. Yeah, I'm happy for Adam because I think 2 things, right? I challenge you a little bit on the whole resources thing because, people got the whole infinite money glitch thing, right? Money doesn't make you good at things. Money doesn't make you win. Like
I
you
just think
can't.
there's something to their program and they're doing something.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, there is something to
A part of
having
their program
resources,
is having
right?
resources. I'm not saying
Yeah.
resources is why they won because ultimately they have to drive.
They have to drive. And I don't think all drivers are created equal, even though they're all pro, right? They all
That's why I said they're all good, but they're
insanely
just not-
talented. But there are some that are just better than others.
Yeah.
All right. There's people that drive in or compete in other sports and never win.
Mm-hmm. You're right. Yeah.
For years.
Yeah, never
you know
get
what I
a
mean?
ring, never get a trophy.
Right.
Yeah.
Any sport, right? And it doesn't mean that they aren't good. No, you're a
There's
pro.
people that are better.
There's people that are better. And I agree with you, right? There's something to use a little football example, illustration. You know, there's a lot of people that wanted to figure out, like, what was the secret sauce to New England dominating all those years? Mm-hmm. Was it the system? Was it Bill Belichick? Or was it Tom Brady, right? Was it? It's really hard to say. You know what I mean? Because they do have a good owner, a good program that provides resources, an excellent coach who, by all accounts, has a good system, too, on the field.
Yeah, he's doing something right.
But you have a once-in-a-lifetime talent in a quarterback also, right? So, you know, my barbershop argument is like, it's the perfect storm. All of those things contributed. Yeah. I think if you take one of those things away, they would not have achieved the greatness that they did. Right. So I think the same thing, a long way. I think the same thing about RTR. I think I hear a little bit. I read some of the comments, and it's like, man.
Yeah, I think people are kind of. Yeah.
Man, Chelsea's good. I think Adam
Chelsea.
can drive. I don't know. I think James is probably the most refined of them, right?
Yeah.
It has to show, like, he has to win.
Yeah.
But they have talented drivers too. It shows RTR is a machine. Like you say, like they don't have slouches on the roster.
Nope.
They don't.
Nope.
And then El Jefe shows up out of nowhere and just like throws it, you know, and wins. So yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
It was good for Adam.
Shout out to Adam. I'm happy for Adam.
And Simon Olsen, he came in second.
Yeah.
So he joined with Odie Bachis in his program.
Yep.
And Odie has, field suspension.
Yes.
And he's been doing good. Like Adam at CoreWork said, like Adam's been, Odie's been doing good for himself.
For sure.
With field suspension. He's doing good in general. Simon actually beat Odie in top 8.
Yeah, top 8.
Yeah, he beat Odie.
Yeah.
And Matt was third. Matt won in Long Beach, which was overdue because he totaled his car last year.
Yeah, he like wrecked it at Long Beach, wasn't it? Totaled it.
Which is pretty rare. Doesn't happen that often.
Yeah. Who is the most talented FD driver? Most talented.
Ryan Turk. Yeah, I can say it probably, but
Turk's a monster.
Yeah, Turk.
Turk's a monster.
And I don't know, like, when I first started watching, like, I watched towards the end of 2021. I started rewatching because I guess I found out about drifting before the new season.
Like playing catch up. Yeah.
So, and I saw Turk. He had, at that point, the GR Corolla wasn't out. So there wasn't, he made it rear-wheel drive.
Yeah.
He just was like, I'm going to drive a front-wheel drive car. I'm going to make it rear-wheel drive. I was like, how cruel of Toyota to not tell you, hey, in 2 years, we're going to drop this car. I know. But, yeah, and I watched him, and it was, like, mesmerizing watching him. Yeah. And I think the same thing of, like, Chelsea, which is why he's, like, a crowd favorite, because I think Ryan's similar to James, but, like, he's very, very, very consistent. So he has, like, the consistency of, like, Frederick Oswald, but, like, the style of Chelsea DeNova.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's amazing. Yeah. He's amazing. Like, this in E-Town, he was really good. He just got beat. Yeah. Like, Frederick Oswald, he just got beat out early because it used to be a drag strip, E-Town. And so it goes from asphalt to concrete back to asphalt in, like, a really long sweeping outer zone. And he just spun out.
Yeah.
And it was kind of damp. It was damp. It was a little damp outside. It wasn't raining. It was just drizzling.
What makes Matt Field so competitive?
That's a good point. I don't know.
Because he's competitive.
He's good.
He's competitive.
Good. Yeah, he's competitive. He has a lot of style. People like him, too. Like they
he's like a bull. Yeah, he's like a bull,
he's
too.
Really, him, Chelsea, Jeff Jones, like, they're just really good personalities.
Yeah.
But I think, he's a pretty good driver. That's why he won in Long Beach. And Long Beach is his home. Like, it's home. Well, it's not a track.
I hate to say track.
It's not a track. It's literally the street. But, like, he's from Long Beach.
Streets of Long Beach.
Yeah, he's from Long Beach.
We're burying the lead. Adam won. That's the lead.
Yeah.
We got to talk about the
Lots of stuff
Nofa
happened, though.
and Stuger.
I got notes.
What did you think about that one more time on the Flappy Hood?
My initial thought was like, this is a joke. And I like to turn the comment like
it's a technicality though, right?
The comments off because people.
It can be bad. Toxic, man. Why are people? I ain't going down.
Whoever
that rabbit hole.
moderates for FD on YouTube is
Trash.
hilarious.
Oh yeah.
They're so funny,
Yeah.
and I really appreciate it because I actually commented on a video about the last event, about a call they made, and they actually like gave me the reasons why this person won. I was like, he shouldn't have won, and there are people agreeing with me. And they gave me their reasons. I was like, okay, we'll agree to disagree. He's like, okay, but yeah, I turned it off, and I was just like, why? Even if it was a technicality, I'm like. Hey, 3 out of 4 hood pins are in. His hood pin's flapping. And actually, if you watch the run, Stookie did a tire drop and shot his bumper off at Chelsea.
Yes, correct.
Which there's no rule for that. The rule is actually that if something comes up, so if somebody hits a wall and the trunk comes up or bumper comes off, there are no repercussions. Everything does have to be in place before the run, though.
Right.
So if there is contact or something like that, tapping, or they've had like hoods fly off and trunks come open, as people just tap the wall. There's no rule for that. Like, there's no repercussions for that. But if it's not latched down before the run happens, and you'll see sometimes, like, the people down there making sure the lights are good, they'll zip tie something, or they'll, like, if a bumper's hanging off before the second run, they'll take off the bumper.
They'll quick take it off. Yeah,
they'll take it off. Or a fender, or whatever it is. They'll just take that piece off so there's no issue there. Right. But it has to be done before the run.
Before the run.
So they're saying... Well, one hood pin wasn't lashed, and it was just flapping a little bit.
It was flapping hard, bro.
It was flapping, but it didn't come off. It didn't fly up. It was of no distraction because... Well... I don't know if it was a distraction. Okay. First of all, I thought that was weird because they said, like, it could be a distraction, and there's a technicality. So instead of... And it should be, technically, in the rule book, a 0. But I guess FD saw it was a crazy call. I'll just say, like, I don't know why his team called that, because he didn't call. His team called that. So they didn't zero out Chelsea's run. They just made him rerun the second half of the run where Chelsea buried him in the ground. I was like, good job. It wasn't close. I could see if it was close. And Chelsea even said that. He's like, it would have been different if it was like a close run or like maybe it was not a close run
at all. Of them.
He got beat.
Yeah, he got beat.
He just got beat.
So I'll tell you something. So I feel like I'm on Stookie's side in that if you have an opportunity,
take it.
You gotta take it. I just got to speak to some interns.
I think that's all it was too.
Professionally, right? And real quick, so two things that make this make sense to me. We're talking to these interns on site. So they had executive leadership team. We got like 40 interns, different departments, right? And about 10 of them asked some extremely good questions, like engaging, thoughtful. I'm going to learn from this guy standing in front of me because he's standing in front of me. I'm going to take advantage of the opportunity.
It's good.
The rest of them didn't. So at the end of it, I said, hey, I'm just going to challenge those of you that didn't ask a question. Find out why. Because part of my talk was on, one of the things that HR wanted me to talk was like, how did I get to where I was? So I told him, like, take advantage of opportunities, right? That was one of the things. Like, so this was an opportunity. You had a free drop with an executive and you didn't take advantage of it. If you don't start now, when does that start? So my point in saying that is, kind of sort of don't blame Stu. He was going to lose.
Yeah. I know.
So you can judge the result in hindsight. Like a person can judge. I'm not saying you could say, well, he lost anyway. Or you could say, like we used to say in basketball and sports, right? Somebody makes a little cheap call, like even in pickup basketball, and then they missed the shot, and we would say, ball don't lie. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you got the foul, but ball don't lie. Like things that still went the way that they were going to go, despite you taking advantage of the technicality.
And I think what made it so much worse is that he crashed.
All four wheels. All four. I was like,
wheels pointed like this.
No.
I'm like, you could have just went home.
But he sent it though.
You could have just went home.
He had to, and he did.
You could have went home though. He could have went home. Yeah. And actually, if you watch the video, he said, I told them no.
He told them no.
That's when Chelsea went to the team. He was like,
he flipped out on
that was very unprofessional. People were like, he's a PR nightmare.
He is.
He's Ford Performance.
He's a liability, bro.
Vaughn.
From that perspective. I'm not saying he's a liability, but from that
Rutledge,
perspective.
like I have a couple days. This was yesterday. Yeah, I'm going to read it exactly what it says on Instagram.
Okay, who is this?
Chelsea. Okay. This was his quote-unquote apology. I'm just going to say he did not apologize.
Okay, go.
I enjoy drifting. I have dedicated more than half my life to drifting, and my passion for it goes to my very core. I always put 100% into every battle, push the limits on race weekends, and try to grow the sport daily. One of the biggest reasons I continue to drive Formula Drift is that it's the only place in the world I get to drive with nearly 40 of the best drifters in the world, all on their A game, and who are as equally passionate and competitive as I am. Saturday, during the heat of competition, I should have had greater restraint as I said some things to a fellow competitor that I should have addressed in a private setting between the other team and I. I am proud of my RTR team and what we are achieving this year against FD's insanely fierce teams and drivers. See you in St. Louis, homies. That was not an apology.
Should he have apologized?
He should have
though?
apologized. Extremely unprofessional.
It was bad.
I think his reaction is called for, but that was how it blew.
We are not suggesting anybody that we know that is listening to this to look it up.
No.
Don't
add more attention to it because
if you know, you know.
So
we're not. No. I'm just saying because there's language in it that I do not promote and stand behind, and I'm not. So do not go look it up.
Don't.
We're not trying to, because I could get in
He
trouble.
was just unprofessional.
Clearly, I'm not promoting. Let me be clear. Let me say this again. Do not go look up what we're talking about. Fortunately, I saw it on like an official news, so they bleeped everything. But there are places where you can go look and you would hear the words, and we do not listen. I don't want that language to not on plain Jane cars. No cussing. I'm not promoting that. But that's why Tristan saying it was unprofessional because he used some and he threatened people
extremely,
essentially.
Yeah. He said, "I'm ready when you are."
Yeah, it was a threat. Yeah. So I think that's what we're talking about, right? So don't go. We're not suggesting to look for, but we're saying that he is a pro.
Yeah, associated with Ford Motorsport,
pretty big brands, pretty big.
Monster.
You know what you should? What we should start with is RTR.
Yeah.
Right.
RTR,
yeah, because that's a brand.
RTR,
yeah. I think that can change. I mean, they're going to wind up with their own Mustang. I think there is a potential for them to.
They got their
have an RTR. What I'm saying, you can go order the RTR package or something like that from Ford, right?
Sure
Ford Performance or something. So the RTR brand by itself, because they have fans and all that kind of stuff, and then wow,
yeah, it was really bad, and he didn't apologize.
But it happens though. But it happens in life. But
I
was surprised to see him go off on that level.
Yeah, I was like, whoa. I get it was frustrating. I get it was irritating.
It's kind of funny.
Like, I did not expect that. I'm like, he pulled up on the driver too. I was like, wow.
He did. I will give him credit from the East Baltimore or whatever.
That was bold.
Hey, he ain't no punk. I will say that he appeared to be about it.
Yeah, even Rutledge on
People
that post
shocked.
said something.
Oh, really? What did he say?
Yeah, he said, "Well said, brother. You're one of the best for a reason. Keep digging." Most people are in support, and they wanted a shirt of what he said. And
really,
yeah, most people were in support of Chelsea, but I think Chelsea also has a much larger following than the driver that was
Stuckey. Yeah, I just think, from my perspective, people like people that send it, and people like aggressive people.
That's why
not
Chelsea
aggressive,
people
but people
like
that are
Chelsea.
he's aggressive.
It's all about Jared, the announcer. He's always his unlimited bumper budget because he's always destroying bumpers. Which is why people love him, because he just sends it every single time.
Yeah, I love that episode. I was watching with by myself, and I was like, "Have you seen?" I don't know if it was on Vaughn's or Chelsea's channel, and Vaughn just lit Chelsea up. And I saw it from a different perspective. And even when I called Tristan in the room, I'm like, "Come look at this! I played it for," and she was like, "Ah." I was like, "But from a manager, from an executive perspective, he lit him up." Because he's not going to do. Well, I shouldn't say Vaughn isn't going to do what Chelsea did, because I don't know him. But when you are a brand and you are leading and you are, But when he went, there was no confusion.
No. Yeah, I watched that.
He was clear. I was like, ooh.
He needs to get it together.
Yeah, he's like, bro, you can get it together. You're doing too much. It's basically what he said to him, and he said it to him to his face. On camera, which I was impressed with. Yeah. And Chelsea left it in. You know what I mean? He's like, yeah. And then,
Chelsea, he's just one of those people, it was like he has all the skills. He has, a great team backing him, a great program. Sure. But, why has he not won?
He just did.
Yeah, he just did. Finally.
He got it done.
But even last year, I'm like, what is happening? What is happening? He would consistently be top 16, sometimes top 4, and just, drop the ball. Yeah. I'm like, what?
This may be their year to. I think FD. They created a big three like the NBA. They kind of have a little bit of a super team, and I think it's going to force others in FD to do something a little bit different.
And I think like
it's not grassroots anymore.
No, and I think
it is.
The negative attention will bring, I think, good attention.
The casual fan.
Yeah,
because there's memes.
I'm talking about like brands. Like people seeing that now that these three, Vaughn,
yes,
Chelsea,
and Adam.
And
I think James is going to win before the year's over.
Probably, and he's driving the whole year.
Yeah.
So the rest of they're
full
split.
Season. Yeah,
so he's driving the whole season. So they got 4 more events.
I wouldn't be surprised if he wins.
And it was interesting because this event actually shook up the leadings, like the board.
Oh yeah.
So Osbo isn't first anymore.
No. Who's in first
fifth.
now?
Matt.
Oh, that's right, Matt. That's right. Yeah, I saw that because he won and he got a third place.
Yeah.
That's right, Matt. It was Matt. I remember. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Matt for sure.
And Simon Olsen, I think he's like 4th now. Like he's ahead of Osbo. And I'm like, wow.
Crazy.
And Olsen, he's not a rookie. He's not a rookie by any means, but he is a young driver. And there's people like talent wise, like I said, Ryan, but I think like probably actually like true potential talent is Brandon Sorensen.
Oh, that was the 19-year-old dude in Prospect, right?
He's 18.
18.
He's a pro. He drives a BMW, the Air Force BMW.
Oh, no, you're right. Yeah.
His
sister is in Prospect, but he's
But,
pro. That's right.
yeah,
I'm
he's
sorry.
pro.
Yeah.
And he's 18, and he started driving FD when he's 15.
15.
He got his license when he was 15. So by the time he's like their age, which is like
30.
30, yeah, 30. I was like early to
Mid-30s.
mid-30s.
Yeah.
He's going to be insane.
You would hope. You can only,
Or he'll be at their level by the time he's 25.
Potentially.
If he's,
right.
continues
No, potentially. Yeah, I agree. I was just thinking, why wouldn't he?
He's really, really good. And he did good this event. He was really consistent. I forgot who he beat. Let me look at this.
Yeah.
But the top 16 was interesting because Ken Gucci beat Frederick Osbo because he spun out.
That's right.
And then, Bocce's moved on from Higa. Higa was doing really good. They did it one more time. Like 2 times.
They did 2. I was going to say that was the 2 one more times, right?
That was the interesting thing about the event. What made the event so interesting is that I couldn't blame the judges. Some of the qualifying stuff was weird. Right. But the calls afterwards, like the top 32 and the head-to-head battles were really interesting because they had a lot of one more times, which is what you don't want. You want it to be like a clear call, unless it's really not a clear call.
I agree.
Because sometimes when you keep one more time, it's like, okay, it can't be 3 times in a row.
Right.
3 hours in between as a track is changing that there's no decided winner.
Yeah.
So that's what happened.
Complicates things.
Yeah, because I'm like, at one point, I'm like, are y'all not seeing what I'm seeing? We're not seeing the same thing. Taguchi beat Kearney. He was pissed. He was pissed.
Yeah, Dean was not happy.
He was upset. He was like, no, Taguchi. So basically, Taguchi was leading. Yeah. He drives like a FRS, and Kearney drives a Viper. Taguchi in his driving, Kearney says he slowed down to the point that he didn't have anywhere to go. And he hit his door and pushed Taguchi off track.
It didn't look like that to me.
It didn't look like that. Kearney hit him. The fact is,
he just looked like he hit him. It looked like he drove into his door. It looks like he drove into his door. That's what it looked like. But
pushed Taguchi offline.
I don't know.
Which eventually made him drop in the dirt and go off track.
Right.
Yeah. Which Kearney hit him again because he did have to slow down after his hit. And he threw him offline.
Yeah.
But he was very upset because he felt that.
But they drove through it, if my memory correct, right?
No.
Is that okay? I must be thinking about something different then.
No. They didn't drive through it. Well, Taguchi he hit him, threw him offline, and Taguchi tire dropped into the dirt. And then he just stopped because he was going to hit the wall.
No, that's right. Yeah, I remember. Okay, I remember. Okay.
Yeah,
okay, I remember that.
There's a wall.
I'm thinking about a different instance with Dean, but yes, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, he was upset. And he's a really good guy. He actually had a video on Drift HQ. They did a walk around of his car and stuff. And I hadn't really hear him talk or anything. Like I didn't even know what he sounded like. I was like, I don't know him. I know he's like from Ireland.
He's Irish for sure.
He's Irish ginger.
Yep.
But yeah, he's cool. He's cool, but he just be struggling with that Viper. I mean, struggling. Same thing with Kyle Mohan. He's the only rotary, the RX-8, and people are like, you need to put it away. Yeah. Because it's almost holding him back. The car's it's been broken. He's missed events in the past just because the car's broken.
I don't know what
Dean has too. He's missed events because his car's broken.
What's Dean's deal? Because he is a wheel man. He can drive.
He's good. Yeah, he's good.
He can drive. It just seems like it's always something that kind of jumps up and bites him. That I've only been watching for a short time, but I would think that because he hasn't won yet.
Mm-mm.
Which I
don't think he's anywhere near a win. If I'm being honest.
No. I don't
Nowhere
think
near,
so either.
honestly. Like, if I'm being honest,
Yeah.
nowhere near one.
Which is interesting to me because he can drive. Like, when
I
you look
know.
at him, certain runs he puts together, you're like, holy
And the Viper looks so
it
good,
looks
too.
so good. And talk about smoke. That is a smoke. It looks like a freight train.
Yeah.
It's so cool. Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry to distract you. What
And
else is
then
in your notes?
Jonathan Castro. So he
Yes.
drives the 86 BRZ,
Yeah,
whatever one.
BRZ.
The new one. The new one. And he went against Jeff Jones. I like Jeff Jones. He's a good personality. He drives a 370. It's red.
Yes.
Everybody loves Jeff Jones.
Yes.
He's a really good.
I don't
he's
know,
just
but I know the
entertaining.
car. I don't know the guy.
He's just a good person, like really entertaining, like you said, likable. He lost after one more time. It was one of those again. It was like a one more time, like Jeff. It was close. It was a fair one more time too, because I was like, I don't even know who won now. They both made
Really?
mistakes. Yeah, they both made mistakes, pretty equal. Like I was like, yeah, definitely one more time. They did it
So you
again,
almost
and
had to flip a
Castro
coin.
like proved himself.
Really?
Yeah,
He drove.
and I think Castro's from DR. So everybody.
He
going
is
crazy.
actually. I remember them talking. Like,
Yeah.
I
And
watched
he comes
Top
from Brazil.
32. I watched a couple different. I didn't watch it straight through.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest, but I caught bits and pieces. I watched 16, 8, and 4.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't watch all qualifying and top 2. But I remember them talking about. He is definitely not from the U.S. I
No,
do
he's
remember
from DR.
that. Okay,
But he did really good, but he lost against Field.
of course.
Pretty expected.
Yeah, of course.
Forsberg beat Ola Yeager. Ola Yeager's been struggling in his super. He's a Mark IV super. He's been struggling.
One of the few people
Kind of
that.
like Kearney.
Yeah.
Good driver, just I don't know what
Really
it is. He's
nice
just not-
car.
Yeah, he's just not getting it.
Was not putting it together.
He wasn't getting it last year either.
Yeah, he's
like
just
it's just
not
been
putting it
struggle for the
together.
past 2 seasons, I guess. And then Rome Sharp and Tier. I love Rome.
Really?
RCP.
What is Rome drive?
R36, LS R36.
Oh, that's right. The LS.
E36.
E36. I'm like R36. Yeah, the
E36,
E36. Yeah,
LS.
yeah.
Yeah, but he be a rookie essentially. He's really cool. There's a driver. He wasn't here, but Christoph's Blush.
Oh yeah, Blush.
The
I know
E92.
Blush. Yeah, I know Blush. Yeah, Blush
like
a driver. Yeah, Blush is a driver.
good. He
is.
drove FD in the past. He's coming back like Dean.
Yes.
So I think the last time he drove was like 2016 or something like that.
Yeah.
It's been like at least 5 years. He's really
I
good.
watched him because he was at Road Atlanta.
Yes.
Didn't he drive
He
Road
just wasn't
Atlanta?
at this event.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say I remember watching him at Road Atlanta. He's a driver too, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Kyle Mohan, the rotary is kind of tough. It's just been tough for him for a long time. Even drivers have said like, I don't know why he uses the rotary. I don't get it because nobody else does it. Like there's one RB in FD, but like nobody uses the
Nobody
RB because it
uses
just
an RB.
sucks.
Yeah.
Sucks for that. It's very finicky.
Yeah,
It's just not
Hard to
meant for
work
it to be
on.
beat on.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's why everybody has an LS, a 2J, you know,
Things
type
that
of
can
stuff,
be beat
a
on.
B58.
Yeah, bulletproof.
Yeah. So
Or something you can bulletproof essentially, and easy to repair.
Travis Reeder, he won last year at E-Town.
Okay,
He drives the E36. But I
Okay,
think it's
okay.
2J. Don't quote me.
I don't know.
Don't quote me. I think it's 2J.
Y'all can see the detail to which
But yeah.
Tristan knows. I'm still learning. I
Oh,
know
yeah,
the
Denolfo
names,
went
and I'm
against LZ.
starting to learn the car.
Obviously, Adam won.
Shocking. Was that in the
That was
16?
good. It was, 16.
I think that was in the 16. Yeah, I
Yeah, it was
remember
16.
watching that, and I wasn't sure. You know, so it's something I have to learn too, because one thing I do like about FD and their coverage, they've probably been doing this for years, but I shouldn't say this hate. That's a strong word. Let me talk about what I like. I do like the angles that they show things at.
Sometimes.
Because I like seeing the in-car POV stuff, but I'd rather see the aerial, right? So you can see the line,
That's
and
really
when they're
when you
in the zones, and you can kind of see proximity and angle and follow.
You can see them wiggling.
Yes,
and
you
like,
can
what
see
can make
on off
somebody
throttle,
slow
on off.
somebody down.
Exactly.
Clutch
kicking. That's right.
Yeah.
And you could just
see all that
see
stuff.
that I enjoy that part of it, because
Mm-hmm.
looking at Adams and Chelsea's battle, I don't want more time to the death, because like on the ground, like at a regular like level
You don't
adult,
see that
you don't.
much.
It was hard I couldn't really separate them, to be honest,
Yeah,
in
and
my
they have
opinion.
good angles too. Like I think on the ground, when you watch it the first time, I think it's good that they choose the angles that they do, which is kind of like on the ground, stable cameras, not moving, and that they
Right.
switch off
And
as they
as they
through.
pass through those
I'm like, that's
zones.
good, perfect. And then after they show the overhead, sometimes they do
I was
the
like,
VC race
Adam
side by side.
smoked them.
Because then you'll see like
Adam
Adam's pulling away, Chelsea's like wiggling.
But you can't see.
you can't see
I'm
that
learning
much
like, and
detail.
it's interesting if you guys watch a little bit of FD or any drifting. That aerial view,
Yeah, the drone is
hits
really good.
different.
Yeah.
because you like you said you get to see them like I don't.
sometimes
Why
drivers
can't you
will
see that
slow
one?
down.
It's weird that perspective to me looks so different.
There's so much smoke and there's just other things going on. But when you're above,
I
all that
guess.
stuff is like minimized.
Yeah, you
All the
can
other
just see it
background,
all.
lights moving, people walking around, people taking pictures. Like all that stuff is minimized when you just see two tiny cars just wiggling around the track.
Yeah. And as I'm learning, that view to me
That's what they use to judge.
teaches me the most, right? I see just from like not for me learning how to drift personally, but like how
That's what they're looking for. That's really
what does a
you see.
good run look like? Like you can that view, man, it shows it. It really shows it because on the ground they all look good. I mean, let's
Right, yeah.
relative.
Yeah.
It's hard. What I'll say, they don't all look good. It's hard to decipher who's better. Like,
you don't see that much difference until you see like, oh, they really moving. Like you'll see sometimes like cars wiggling a lot, especially in that outer zone. It's a really long sweeping zone,
It's
so you see them
interesting.
just wiggling, and I'm like, what in the world?
But when it's
you don't
on the
notice.
ground, you don't really.
notice. Or notice
In
as
my
much.
untrained eye, I don't notice it.
You don't notice
the
it as
aerial.
much.
I'm like that. What was going
They're
on
moving a
there?
lot.
Right.
Move a lot, and they're like,
You can see them more on the handbrake. You can see them more clutch. Like you can see the car doing all the
You can
things.
see, yeah.
And if the other driver, like Adam, was like just in
they're
it,
just in. It shows
Like,
like,
I
it's
was
a
like,
clear decision.
wow.
That's how they make their decisions.
interesting.
That's why they do
interesting.
like the BC racing, like side by side.
Oh,
so they
yes.
see like,
Yeah.
this person's lead next to this person's lead.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
And I'm like, that's
yes,
good.
right? Like lead versus lead, follow versus follow.
Yeah.
yeah.
You'll
For
see
sure,
both
for
of
sure.
them side by side, and that's like
Anyway,
the easiest way to make
Sorry,
a
I'm
decision.
going to distract you going down rabbit holes, but when
I
I
think
saw
that
I
was-
saw that run, I was like, what? I like this aerial
was good.
thing. Yeah.
It was good. Oh, Joao Barrion. He drives a C7 Corvette. He's
Okay,
from
you got me.
Brazil.
Oh, okay.
There's two drivers. Higa and Barrion are from Brazil, and then Castro's from DR.
Okay.
There's a lot
Okay,
of countries
fair.
associated with FD. But yeah, he did really good. He actually I was very surprised. He beat Jonathan Hurst, which is like my definitely like top 5 like personal favorite.
You like
person.
everybody. Like, oh,
No,
I like this
person
I like this person.
because he runs like I told you, he runs his own program. So he went
Yeah.
on a different podcast. He went on a different podcast that's pretty popular nowadays, and he talked about how he does FD every year. Because he doesn't have a team. Like Dan pulled out because he didn't have a major sponsor. He's like, it just cost too much.
Yeah, it's
It
expensive.
just cost too much. Not all the cars there are like $150,000 at least.
At
And he's
least,
like,
yeah, it's
I ain't
expensive.
got no $150,000 money.
No. And he's running a shop,
And he's-
right? He's just
yeah.
funding, self-funding.
Yep.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's basically, and he has his friends are the people that are
That
like
help. That's his
fixing-
team.
That's his
Yeah,
team.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to watch him because I guess it's a little bit more relatable than something like Frederick Osbo or RTR. Like
Yeah,
it's like kind of
yeah.
it's far away.
Yeah.
And you have like Toyota backing you and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't.
That's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you just
But
building your super and going out
he
there.
made it to pro and he literally has his friends as his team.
That's kind of
So
cool.
he's really relatable. But unfortunately, he got beat by Joao, who is once again similar like Kearney. Actually, no, that's actually an insult to Kearney. I'm sorry. He's okay.
Oh, okay.
He's pretty just okay. Like he sometimes he doesn't make it into the events like top 32.
Really?
Yeah. I think this might be his first event this year where he made it into the top 32.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so he's just had problem just driving because his car is fine. It's a new car. Like it's a new car. So it's just a C7 Corvette.
Yeah.
Not just, but you know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's not
got
like he's swapping and having to worry about old 30-year-old chassis. Like it's a new car.
Yeah.
And he did really good, surprisingly. And he won against Hugh, which also is a BMW person. You know him, Royal Purple?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
I do.
So, yeah, he was good, but Joao beat him. And he made it all the way to top 8, but Adam beat him.
Right. So what's the next St. Louis? Is it next event? I think.
St. Louis. Yeah, St.
I think it
Louis.
is St. Louis, right?
Yeah.
It'll be
that
interesting.
track.
Who's your favorite going into St. Louis?
I would say I'm kind of pulling for Simon right now.
Really?
Because he was a really surprising, like, that's
True.
what he made, like,
Yeah.
most of the event really interesting. Because it's
Yeah.
like, whoa, him and Joao made the event really interesting. Him, Joao, and Jonathan Castro.
Yeah.
Because usually they'll make it to top 16 or top 32 and then they just
they're
get
out.
beat. Yeah, they just kind of get
Yeah.
beat. And they usually place towards the bottom. So, it's like 132.
Yeah.
So it'll be like Joao going against Frederick Osbo.
Right.
And it's like, well, that's a pretty clear call on who's
Yeah,
going to
you're
win
out
that.
of there. Yeah,
But
you're
it
gonna be out
wasn't
of
clear
there.
this event, which is what made it so interesting.
It'll be interesting to see how St. Louis sets up. And one thing that I'm learning is I can't use that analogy. I was going to use an analogy. It makes sense, but I'm not going to use it. different tracks cater to different driving styles, probably chassis and abilities, power level, and all that kind of good stuff too. So it'd be interesting to see if St. Louis, because I don't know it, I didn't watch it last year. I don't know the track setup. If it sets up more for high power cars like a Long Beach or something like that, or where it sets up for more of a technical, like Road Atlanta. It's more, it's not a big power track, it's super technical with the keyhole, and it's just tighter inside zones and stuff like, not big and sweepy like Englishtown. Like E-Town's kind of like more of just basically a figure eight, essentially.
People don't like it, but I like E-Town for the fact that it's just a figure eight.
Right.
So people, and
it's a flat. It's it's a kind of a flat figure eight too, right? You're not doing like Atlanta's weird hill and all this.
Yeah, you have to go up a hill and back down. Like, which is, I like that.
It's set. That's what I'm trying to say. My point is, like, these tracks set up for different cars to have maybe that's what I think.
Everybody has opportunity.
Everybody has opportunity.
100%. Like,
so
it's really anybody's game.
See how St. Louis works out. And I think that's what's going to keep it interesting is they don't go, as long as they don't go to like a spec car, right? Because sometimes that's what people will start saying.
Well, that's why they have pro spec.
Well, what I'm saying is, I mean, they spec tire and all that. I'm saying like a NASCAR or F1 where everybody has pretty much the exact same vehicle. And then it's really only about driver and kind of sort of team too, right? Team's a big part of it, but really it's about the driver. Yeah. I hope FD never does that because the variety is what's cool. Yeah, that's what keeps
what makes it different.
Grassrooty too, right? A little bit of grassrooty, like you can kind of build your own car and show up here and follow certain rules, right? There are, certain rules, tire size, weight, all that kind of stuff. Like there are rules, but generally speaking,
do whatever you want.
Run what you bring.
He made a rear wheel drive Corolla. I mean, you can run whatever chassis you want. Nobody cares. The engine does not matter. There's no power requirement.
No, you do whatever you want.
You do whatever you want. There's some people that have.
There's still people running 600, 700 horsepower, which is shocking.
Like 750 is like the lowest.
Shocking. I'm thinking pro spec. I was thinking pro spec. Yeah.
Oh, pro spec.
There's a couple 600 horsepower guys.
Like,
I was like, what?
Most of pro spec is like, I think hovering probably around 5 to 7.
I was surprised. I mean, I really, like I'm gonna be honest, like I really locked into E-Town for some reason. Like I was watching. I guess I had some time or whatever. Yeah. There's not every car is like 1,100 horsepower. Not even close. Which I thought they all were.
Few cars that are that powerful. Mostly the RTR cars, and then Kearney, and then the Corvettes.
Dean and the Vets. Yeah, that's it.
Everybody else is hovering around like 800.
I was like, what?
Like all the BMWs, like Hughes, Reader, Rome, they're all like 750, 800. Yeah, and the Toyotas are usually around like 800.
Well, we're going to recap St. Louis.
Maybe nitrous.
Yeah, you're going to spray it. Some of them will.
Yeah.
We're going to recap St. Louis. And what we're going to try to do, we talked about it, I think for Orlando. It's talked about live streaming. So we won't be in studio, but we might have a little set up. Can't talk. A little setup at home where we'll live stream to YouTube and then post it to YouTube, right? You can do kind of both. Like it'll be a video so people can watch it at a later date. But I think that would be cool, right? Live stream, the live stream.
Yeah. I watch it anyways.
Yeah, we kind of watch it. We can just sit. And
I'll be waiting 30 minutes so I can skip through some stuff, but then
maybe
we'll
mute the guy. What did
Jared? I like Jared, but sometimes it's like
he was doing a lot of E-Town. He was doing a lot of E-Town, and I think it's because it was exciting. It was genuinely exciting, and
because usually E-Town
he doesn't have anybody to reel him in. No. It's like, dude.
Yeah, because the person next to him is a judge, so he's busy judging.
Yeah,
so
he was
like, I gotta go.
High, which was cool. It's just sometimes it's like. I get it.
People commented too. I was like, he is doing a lot right now.
A little bit too much, but it was okay. I mean. Shout out to him, man. Yeah, shout out to him.
Otherwise, it just seemed like a lot.
I muted it a few times and just watched. Not muted, but had it turned down. Yeah,
5 seconds.
Just doing too much. Okay, but anyway,
I got it.
So when we do come back, when we come back, next episode will not be in studio, but like I said, we'll still give you guys some stuff. A lot of it's probably just going to be around how it started with me and Tristan while we're on our little summer hiatus. So we're going to call it. We're going to give you the FD sauce for sure for the podcast. And then we'll probably be back in a real way. I'm thinking around September-ish.
Good time.
You'll be busy, though. You got
something
some goings on. Senior-ish year in college, finishing up. I shouldn't say senior year.
Pretty much.
Finishing up, knocking out of the park. So I hope you have a wonderful year. I hope you enjoy your summer. Thanks for all your support. Really appreciate you. My daughter is awesome. I shout out my wife. I shout out my daughter. Shout out to my son too. Cam, coolest customer in the world. This dude is like, we gotta have him on a podcast one day.
Yeah, that's true.
Tristan's like, no.
He's interesting because he's like, oh, this is cool, but at the same time, he's like, I don't really care.
He is
like
just
about
not
cars in
a
general.
car guy, man. Which
But he'd be like, something's cool.
yeah, he appreciates
Yeah.
cool stuff. You know what I mean? But he's just like, yeah, okay, I'm on to new things.
Yeah.
But he's a super talented kid, so and he's a talker, so it'd be nice to have him on it just to get his perspective on stuff because he would eloquently say, I have no clue what y'all talking about.
Yeah, basically.
Which would be funny. But I really appreciate you, man. My daughter is a lot of motivation for me because I get scatterbrained. I have a lot going on, and she's helped me kind of push through some other noise. She's like, hey, you're going to record it? Hey, you're going to. So I appreciate those reminders, the motivation, kind of keep me going on this creator journey. And also, man, when you see the 240, there is not a part of it except for the seats. I'm not gonna let you. You're not gonna. That's me.
Yeah, I was not agreeing
But
on this.
everything else, she had critical input in, or sourced it and purchased it, like legitimately. So when you see it, I mean, it has my fingerprints on it, but I think just as many, if not more, of your fingerprints, which I think is super cool. I think
Learn
that's
from the
super.
best.
Well, I don't know about that. I appreciate that though. Appreciate that
best.
though, because I got a little talent when it comes to that. I'm not even gonna sell myself short, but so do other people, man. There's some people out there I'll be looking at like, man, they're good at what they do.
Sure are.
And lastly, I'm gonna do something that I haven't done in a long time. I'm working on my own car.
Yay!
It's so scary.
We're gonna put
What's up?
AC.
I know I don't
Once
want
we got
to.
air conditioning, Daddy, I think we're gonna be good.
So nice to pay other people to do it, but it's gonna be fun just doing it myself and
I'll get to
taking
learn.
my time. Yeah, she wants to learn some stuff, so driving, all that good stuff. Long close, but just wanted to again say thank you. Appreciate you guys. Taking a little break. We'll be back, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.